안녕하세요 여러분, 평범한 대학생 이민혁입니다. 여러분 그거 아시나요? 핀란드와 한국은 비슷한 역사를 공유하고 있습니다. 그것도 조금은 아픈 역사를 말이죠. 저는 이것을 제 핀란드 친구인 어로를 통해서 얘기해 보려고 합니다. 하지만 그 전에 한국인들은 과연 핀란드에 대해서 얼마나 알고 있는지 알아보려고 합니다. 가시죠. 핀란드란 나라에 대해서 알고 계신가요?
네, 알고는 있습니다.
핀란드가 어디에 있는지는 알고 있어요.
네, 대충은 알고 있어요. 그냥 유럽에 있는 나라, 네, 유럽 북쪽에 있었던 나라였던 것 같아요.
핀란드란 나라에 대해서 아는 것에 대해서 한번 알고 계신 거 한번 말해볼 수 있을까요?
일단 자일리톨을 많이 들어봤고, 그다음에 유럽 북부 쪽에 있어가지고 그냥 숲 이런 거 유명하다고만 알고 있어요.
어, 자일리톨이랑 뭐 눈이 많이 왔던 것 같아요. 그리고 자연 광경이 좀 이뻤던 거, 그리고 뭐 그 정도밖에 없는 것 같아요.
일단 추운 나라고 북유럽이라는 거랑 반문화가 없고 엄청 해가 빨리 지고 해가 아예 안 짓는 날도 있었던 것 같은데. 그리고 스웨덴이 침략을 받았다는 것 정도?
그럼 핀란드가 우리나라 역사 중에서 특히 아픈 부분인 침략과 내전에 대해서 같은 역사를 공유하고 있다는 것에 대해서 혹시 한번 들어보신 적 있으신가요?
아니요, 이번 그 인터뷰를 통해서 좀 처음 들은 것 같아요. 그래서 전에는 전혀 그런 사실 몰랐거든요. 네.
스웨덴이 핀란드를 침략했다는 거는 알고 있었는데 안에서 내전이 있었다는 거는 들어본 적이 없는 것 같아요.
그냥 한 번도 못 들어본 것 같아요. 핀란드가 우리나라 일제 뭐 이런 거, 침략 이런 거랑은 전혀 상관없는 줄 알고 있었어요.
앞에 인터뷰를 통해서 한국 사람들이 핀란드에 대해서 알고는 있지만 역사적 공통점을 갖고 있었다는 사실은 모르고 있었다는 걸 알 수 있었는데요. 이제 대한민국 순천향대학교에서 공부를 하고 있는 핀란드 학생 어로를 통해서 한국과 핀란드의 역사적 공통점인 침략과 내전의 역사를 알아보도록 하겠습니다.
안녕하세요. Moi. Hello, my name is aarowa. I come from Finland and I study in the University of Jyväskylä.
So Oro, so why did you come to Korea?
Well, I've always wanted to visit like Asian countries, and one of my friends was here in exchange about maybe 2 years ago, and he recommended this place to me, and I thought that yeah, why not? I'll come here, and so far I've liked it in here.
So Oro, do you know some histories?
Yeah, of course. About what history?
About the Finland history.
Yeah, sure I do.
Then, as I know, the Finland had experience about the invasion from the Sweden and Russia. Tell me about that first.
Well, around 1200s, Finland was taken over by Sweden very gradually because Sweden came to Finland to teach Christian religion, and using that, Sweden took over Finland, and Sweden ruled Finland for maybe over 500 years, and we were treated, if I remember correctly, we were treated pretty good. The only thing is that Finnish people were forced to take part in Sweden's wars. But like around back then, there wasn't like even a concept of a country called Finland. There were only like some people who spoke some old Finnish language. So yeah, but a Finnish person like with a good chance, he could have like gone to very like high positions in the society. So Finnish people were actually treated pretty good. Then around 1800s, 1808, if I remember correctly, Sweden went to war with Russia. Sweden lost the war, And the conclusion was that eastern parts of Sweden were attached to Russia, and among them was Finland. And Russia ruled over Finland for over maybe around over 100 years or so. And those times were much worse, if I remember correctly. Finnish people, the Russian people tried to make Finnish more like Russian. We were forced to teach Russian in our schools. They treated us pretty badly. Yeah.
So Finland has also experienced about the civil war. So tell me about like how it happens and how it was bad and how do people think in this day about that?
Well, the Civil War was right after the World War One. It started at the beginning of Finland's independence, which happened in 1917 when Russia had its revolution. So basically, the war was fought between a Social Democratic Party, they're called like the red troops, and then there was a Conservative Party, which are called White, and the Whites, they had control over northern and central Finland, and the red ones had control over southern Finland. And if I remember correctly, the Finnish Civil War is described as second bloodiest civil war after like Spanish Civil War, if I remember correctly. So it was pretty bad. And the conclusion was that the whites won, and a lot of the red troops were executed when they were taken as prisoners, and it divided the Finnish people pretty badly. Yeah, I believe it was even like in 1960s that the way you talk about the Civil War was you'd have to be very careful because some people had like relatives on the red troops and some people had relatives on the white troops, so the dividing, like the people were very divided. Yeah, it's a true miracle that in the 1940s, when we had to go to war with Russia, the people like could unite so quickly because I think the Civil War had like such a deep impact to Finnish people.
All right, then do you know some Korea history?
I know a little bit. I'm actually taking a Korean history class here right now.
Right. Then, do you know one of the Korean history? There is invasion and civil war, like Korean War, like the similar to Finland. Do you know so about the histories?
I've heard about that, but I don't actually like know the details about it.
So the reason we went someplace, actually we visit some place. The first place was Korea History Museum, right?
Oh yeah, the one that was about the Japanese invasion.
In the Korean History Museum, so we look around the whole history about the Japanese invasion and the exhibitions and movement, the history, the stuff, things. So all of that, how do you feel?
Well, I think the museum itself was pretty interesting. I think it was very interesting to see a lot of the like the old writings about like everything. I thought there was like a Declaration of Independence or a copy of it might have been. That was pretty interesting. So and then there was that one mention about the March 1st movement, and like there was a lot of these pictures about the like the persons who had been like protesting against Japan, like the what do you call it when they get like jail time. They have the pictures, like the mug shots about them, and that was pretty interesting to me to see that like the Koreans Korean people really wanted to have their independence, and they were like willing to fight for it for that hard. So yeah, that was pretty interesting to me.
After visit the Korean History Museum, we went to other place. So do you remember what it was?
It was the Korean War History Museum, right?
Yes, right. So, how was there? How did you feel about there?
Well, I thought it was very interesting. They had this, I think they had like 2 hallways in there with stone pillars on each side, and there were like carved all the people's names who had, I think, fought in the war and died, and there were a lot of those. So that actually made me think about like how many people had sacrificed themselves because of the war. And on the inside, they had a lot of weaponry in there, like old cannons and firearms and that kind of stuff, bullets, which were pretty interesting. Also, they had a lot of mentions about the countries that had helped the Korean during the Korean War. And I think the Koreans are very thankful to those because there were a lot of mentions about those countries. And I took a lot of pictures in there for myself, and my mother is actually a history teacher. She teaches 7th to 9th grade, and I'm gonna show those pictures to her, and I think she's gonna find them pretty interesting. But overall, I think the museum was very interesting. They had a lot to show in there, and I think it really shows like how horrible the Korean War must have been and how it must have affected to the Korean people.
Now you know about Finland and Korea has the common histories. So how do you think about that?
Well, it actually made me think a lot about that, because at first I didn't actually think about it in a way that Korea and Finland would have the same kind of history, but like when we visited the museums, it made me think that like the both countries had been invaded by a foreign country, and both of them were treated pretty badly by the invader. So yeah, like the histories are actually pretty similar, and they teach us in Finland. They teach us in schools about the Korean War, but they don't. Not into my knowledge, I don't think they teach us about the Japanese rule over Koreans. So I don't think most people in Finland think that the histories are the same, even though they are pretty similar actually. But so yeah, I think I found that very interesting, the fact that the both countries actually have very similar histories. Yeah, I think that's very interesting.
So if people know about this fact, so do you think each country's relationship getting more close?
Yeah, I mean, sharing common histories, it might be one factor that would make countries close, and I think it would be the same thing in this case too. Yeah. Thank you for watching this video. 안녕히 계세요. 뭐라고?